Hello everyone, how are you doing? This is Daryl Guberman, CEO of Guberman PMC LLC, a quality consulting firm here in Connecticut. Today is a very important video. It is about Boeing. It is about the whole Alaska Air deal. It's about the factor that Boeing gave quality authority over to their accreditation bodies, ANSI, ANAB, the American National Standards Institute, the American National Crediting Board, where they sit as a member as well. Boeing sits on ANAB's board, the one that they tell you on their supplier portal that you must use. And they sit on the board, the management board that can grant, suspend, and withdraw certification. They sit on the directors of management that makes policy for the organization to run properly. That's what you call stacking the deck. This video today is about Iran Air. I have a friend of mine that is over there in Iran, and I say this for the people, not the politicians. Not the politicians at all. We're going to go into this. This video today is about Iran Air. QA expert Daryl Guberman alerts Iran Air and passengers about Boeing being an FAA regulator from 2009 to present. I don't fool around. I, as a proud American Jewish business leader, must say two things. In Judaism, there are several sayings. In a dark room, all you need is one candle to light it. Also, oh God, this is horrendous. Absolutely horrendous, and I'm going to say this because this is Iran. People aren't going to like what I have to say, but I must tell you because I care about the people, no matter where you are in the world. I don't give a shit about the politicians. In fact, my mom used to have a saying that if you get rid of the politicians, you'll have peace on earth. We do all function properly. Most of these wars are for monetary reasons. In Judaism, there is another saying, Tiku Olam, illuminating the world, bringing light to it, and that is why I am doing this for Iran Air and every other airline that is out there. And the last but not least, they have a saying in Judaism. If you can save one life, you have saved the world eternal. And I do this because I'm tired of looking at these people who they are incompetent, and that's the problem. And I will prove it to you today. So listen, and listen well, my friends. And you're not going to like what I say. The Muslims and the Jews are relatives. I have to go off on a tangent now. We are relatives. Relatives. During Ferdinand and Isabella in Spain, they put out an edict, both of them. They really kind of poo-poo the Muslim factor, but this is true. I've looked at history books, I've done it. Maybe you could prove me wrong. If you do, so be it, but this is what I've read. That Ferdinand and Isabella, King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella, had an edict out about the Muslims and the Jews. They said that if you want to practice your religion, we'll kill you. If you become Christian, we'll keep you. And if you want to practice your religion, get the heck out of the country. The Sultan of Turkey, who's a Muslim, invited the Jews and Muslims in there, and his words were this. Let me tell you, his words were, your loss is our fortune. Now I can continue on. And this goes to you, Mayor Dad. And I thank you for you and your family. ANSI is a private, not-for-profit, non-governmental entity. Okay, it's been around for 100 years, and it's got both federal agencies and corporations on board. In 2015, Mr. Randy Doherty, who was the vice president of ANAB, the chairman of the International Accreditation Forum Incorporated in Delaware, and he was also the principal on the 990 tax form, which he had complete control. He handed over leadership to this communist Chinese national Zhao Zhenwu, who is also, at that time, the chief executive of the China National Accreditation Services. Okay, on top of that, he is mandated by his country of origin, Communist China, to take your data. Here he is in 2017, Zhao Zhenwu, handing over a quality certificate for laboratory. And there you go. You have a Miss Pamela Sale. And by the way, the China National Accreditation Services is equivalent in accreditation to ANSI ANAB. ANSI ANAB are underwriters for the International Accreditation Forum and the International Laboratory Accreditation Cooperation. We have all pertinent data on that. We have several federal contracts that call out saying ANSI ANAB are underwriters for the IF. That means that they take all responsibility, both systematic and product failure. That is it. You'll have a lawyer more than likely say, "You're wrong, Daryl." The reason why is because ANSI is deeply involved with the American Bar Association. They have the DOJ on board of ANSI. They've got the FBI on board. It's absolutely disgusting. You're going to see this firsthand. You have a Miss Pamela Sale, Vice President of Quality for Laboratory Certification, give a deposition down in Texas stating, and I quote, stating that from one laboratory to another, there are variances and they lack protocol. Here you go. You have ANAB sitting on ANSI's board. In 2018, you have the factor that ANSI took over complete control over ANAB. On top of that, they were sitting on as members on the IF between 2015 and 21 when that communist Chinese national, who's mandated to take their data through the China National Intelligence Law Article number 7, was controlling it. The worst thing, and this does not go to the Iranian people, but I hope the politicians may have got something from my very first part of this video, because we are cousins, so let's continue. You have ANSI ANAB sitting over by Iran and Pakistan, where Pakistan harbored Osama bin Laden, and you have this guy down there, Khomeini, who wants to see the destruction of the United States of America, and he is also supplying arms, ammunition, and money to Hamas. Listen, Khomeini, we're cousins. What the hell is going on? I am a proud American Jewish business leader, and we're in this shit. And look at this guy. Look at this, guys. ANSI ANAB sits by them. So for you companies out there who are ANAB accredited, what do? Agree with Hamas? Oh, unbelievable. And here we go. Sitting on ANSI's board, you have 7 registrars out of like 60. You have Intertech, who's the registrar of Spirit Aerospace, that Mr. Shanahan behind me is running as the CEO. But they sit over by ANAB, utilizing the ANAB accreditation. So basically, is there any oversight? No. Let me just say this too about Iran and Pakistan. This is a disgusting matter that they probably don't know. The International Laboratory Accreditation Cooperation, from what I've gathered, does not allow Iran on board. But for some strange reason, an American-based country on American soil, they have Iran and Pakistan. I just don't understand the whole situation there. I think ILAC, or the International Laboratory Accreditation Cooperation, is run by an Eti Feller, an Israeli national. Politics, you know how they say, we're bringing people in, quality fosters partnerships. They're lying to you, just like this. Here's Boeing, and here it goes. In 2002, Boeing put out a supplier notification that stated on-site Boeing surveys or on-site Boeing audits of suppliers' quality system if need be. Our preference is to deal with proven suppliers with excellent quality performance and not have to do on-site quality system surveys. This is in 2002, so for 22 years, they have really not been sending source inspectors out to their suppliers, because what they do is they say, send us your AS9100 certificate, that's for aerospace, international standard, and then We check off the box, you send us your parts, and you throw it in the plane. That's basically it, starting in 2002. So Iran Air, if you have any airplanes that you purchased from Boeing in 2002, oh, hey vey. Anyway, we continue on. In 2009, when David Calhoun, the CEO, was sitting on the board of Boeing, the FAA gave regulatory authority. Remember these words: regulatory authority, as if they were FAA, to Boeing Commercial Airline, and here it is. The FAA increased the authority of Boeing's Commercial Airlines division to self-certify its own aircraft. Boeing employees to perform tasks on behalf of the FAA that include oversight of testing and product standards, along with certification and aircraft technologies and new aircraft designs. So the FAA made Boeing an FAA regulatory authority. So when you hear Mr. David Calhoun, and I have him here. Let's see if I can get him online here, and I will let you listen to this mess, because it is just one in his interview with the whole Alaskan Air. Listen to what he says.
Speculate, but I will say this: the work that our regulator, in this case the FAA, has been doing to inspect the situation and create a procedure and a protocol for the airlines to go out and inspect each and every one of the airplanes, 100% of them, and make certain that the work that our regulator, in this case the FAA.
Now you heard it firsthand. The work of our regulator, the FAA. They made Boeing the regulator. So when you have both of these organizations together, you have a conundrum going on, ladies and gentlemen, a conundrum. On top of that, you look at their supplier portal. Their supplier portal calls out ANSI ANAB, while Boeing sits on ANSI's board and also ANAB's board that can grant, suspend, and withdraw certification. You find anything wrong with that? Yes. You see how bad the quality is. You see that they allowed a certificate to do their on-site audits because of cost-cutting initiatives and giving bigger bonuses to these guys. Another bad problem. Now, if you don't think I'm telling you the truth, Iran Air, I'm going to show you the truth. Boeing got caught fudging documentation on their airliners. This is after the fact that they were made into a FAA regulator. On top of that, on the Bell Boeing V-22, one of them just went down about a month ago. Their composite facility, Bell Boeing composite facility, was caught, I guess, fudging documentation again, which is a terrible thing. I'm a composite specialist, aluminum, titanium, alloys, etc. But you look at this. You have a piece of graphite with resin in it. It's a cloth with resin. You put the graphite together, graphite pile, and then you do a cure, pressure, temperature, and you ensure that that part will come out as one solid unit. If the temperature or pressure varies a little bit, you may end up with interstitial bubbles. So we take the fabric like this. Interstitial is in between the fibers. Okay, this way, this time it might be between the fabric like this, affecting the fibers. So when you put this component, which looks like it's a solid component, but it's not microscopically, you put it out on the aircraft and vibratory stresses, because sometimes an ultrasonic inspection will not pick up interstitial bubbles. Maybe the engineer will criticize me on that, but many times I saw that in aerospace, they had interstitial bubbles. When they cut it up, they saw the bubbles, especially in tail rotors and main rotor blades, the way the adhesive did. And the solid ones, I worked on the all graphite rotor blades. So you have stresses, and you'll cause it to separate and disbond. You also have the factor that most recently we heard that the National Transportation Safety Board is going to go with the FAA to go look at an FAA regulator. Boeing. How can, and by the way, the National Transportation Safety Board is part and parcel of the Department of Transportation. So we have issues, business owners, my fellow citizens. And the final thing I'm going to tell you is this, that David Foster, and I say this again, David Foster Wallace put this together. The truth will set you free, but not until it is finished with you. My name is Daryl Guberman. I'm a quality professional with over 40 plus years in the business, aerospace, medical implants, medical materials, printing, and plastic distribution, where we dealt with every industry. I do this because I care. You don't know me, and I don't know you, but we will know you if it becomes international, if your plane goes down because of this slipshod inspection. I thank you.